And lastly, are there any benefits of becoming a good feedback receiver? So the question is, you don't always have to act upon the feedback. You just have to ask, listen, and thank for the feedback. Why? Because they are giving the feedback to other people anyway. So if I'm being a jerk, someone has the courage to come and tell me that, sir, your behavior was really rude. I get what we call punishing the messenger. No, we punish the messenger. Who the hell are you saying? So instead, we need to thank them. Doesn't mean we act on it. We just need to thank them for having the courage to tell us to our face. Does it make sense?
Uh,
Yeah. Can you unmute yourself?
yeah,
Okay.
Nishant here.
Mm-hmm.
I have a thought here, and there's a question that triggers right now. So
Mm-hmm.
whenever we are giving feedback to the leadership team,
Mm-hmm.
especially the senior leadership, so
Mm-hmm.
it is not easy. One, you need to collect a lot of courage.
Mm-hmm.
You need to gather a lot of courage to give the feedback, and then when you give the feedback, most of the time the people would not take it, as you are saying that we are supposed to listen to the feedback and thank for
Hmm.
the feedback. But most of the time people have their ego that comes in into picture, and people don't actually take the feedback. So is it the ego of leadership, the power ego, or
Yeah.
is it something else that they operate from, because of which they are not in a position to take
Hmm.
feedback from
Correct.
certain people? The same
Correct.
people might take feedback from, say, a peer or a senior colleague, but when a subordinate or a team member who's junior in designation goes ahead and give the feedback,
Hmm.
it is not accepted most of the time. So
Correct.
just wanted to understand this part here.
Right. So correctly pointed. And in fact, this is what we teach leaders. We have stakeholder-centered coaching. And then the main idea is that if you have reasonably good people around you, they can give you feedback on how to improve. And as you said, if organizations were doing this routinely, we would definitely be out of business. No, we would have no business. But organizations are
Mhm.
not doing that, and that is why it is doing that. So normally, it's one of the two problems: will or skill. So they are not willing to do that, or they are not trained or skilled in how to do that. So we can help with the second part. Now, uh, what also happens is it starts with the culture. So when there's a fantastic article on Ellen Malale's 4 turnaround story on our website, and we use that to kind of create a change of culture, honesty, etc. in organizations by coaching the top leadership team. So this is a problem of willpower, willingness or lack of skills. And as you said, I completely agree with you. You can also think in terms of the lens that we discovered today. What kind of trigger is being triggered with a subordinate or with a particular person. So it could be either his identity trigger, the bosses, or most likely it's the relationship trigger. I don't need to listen from this bunch of idiots who work under me, so that's what might be the kind of thing. And as I said, uh, how many of you would like to change your boss? So I ask this and people start laughing. And then I say, how many of you can change your boss? So and then people start laughing again. So it's like the childhood story about who will bell the cat. You must have heard it. So there's a cat in a house and it would come out and pounce on a mouse and eat it. And so a whole bunch of mice get together and they say that we should put a bell on the cat. So whenever the cat comes in, we would know that the cat is coming so we can run away or hide. And then one wise mouse says, oh, it's a fantastic idea. I just have one question. Who will bell the cat? So I don't know who will bell the cat of your boss. But what you can do is you can, instead of triggering your own reactions, if your role model is what makes you think so? What exactly do you want me to do to improve this report? Um, uh, can I make notes and run it by you that this is what it is? So that is something that might help. If you become a better role model, it might help him understand a little bit better. Okay, so I will move on.
Nishant,
So yeah,
can I ask a question? Ashish this side.
Yeah, I was
So
wondering, this is the last slide, I believe, and then
okay,
we will open floor for question. Would that
sure.
be okay? And
Yeah, perfectly fine.
I am available as long as if someone wants to leave, that's fine, but I'll be around, so no worries. So manage your emotional triggers. So you don't have to act on the feedback, just have to listen and thank. Manage your emotional triggers. We just talked about it, right? Engage in the conversation skillfully. So instead of emotional response, we can say, hey, thank you for telling me instead of telling others. Now, what do I have to do? And I'll end with a story that might help you understand what the process is. Making thoughtful choices. So this is very important. Uh, there's a quote which says that thinking is the hardest thing to do. That's why so few people do it. So we have to think. Be open in seeing yourself in new ways. Realize that we all have blind spots and we all have improvement areas. Otherwise, you would be perfect specimen of God. And unfortunately, I haven't met one. I have met a lot of those people who think they are one, but I haven't really met one. Uh, so as I said, great mentors and great teachers are rare. So we need to learn from everybody else who is just average in giving you feedback. And when we become good at receiving feedback, it accelerates our learning. It improves our relationship and it supercharges our performance.